You ready?
Yeah.
Oh, why did I do my mouth like
You could have waited and paused before that shit.
why I had to do all of that? Man, we got Jack. Oh well, but we're back.
That's kind of lame, but it is what it is. What it is.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Now
Guess
we'll just have to do better at finding uncopywritten music. Where the homie at? Grismatic.
look, oh yeah, we can play one of his. Let's do it.
Grismatic. We need some music, man. We need some music.
Well, let me play one of his while we wait for people to come in here. We gonna be talking about something.
We're supposed to be playing that on the intro anyway.
17 years, still here. Nirvana, Dynamics. Yeah, let's go. I'm talking big vibes, better know the name.
Now we could play this. This was made just for us.
But the soul didn't change. I got that damn message riding on the track. 17 years down, but we brought the heat back. Yeah. We staying solid, we don't ever bend. Because the thick skin wins in the very end. I said that thick skin wins, yeah, that thick skin wins. Quality over everything. Let the show begin.
I don't think it's telling people we're back on, man. She said, are you guys coming back?
Man, it's just a minor setback. I'm certified, you know I'm gonna get that. No money, front of views or the likes. Just me and that mess is killing it on the mic. We ain't latching the gates, we ain't playing by the rules. Quality over quantity, taking to school. It's entertainment, only sharing life through the lens. Keep your circle real tight, we don't need no fake friends. 17 years of army, you just can't stay dead. New channel, same fire, man, this year's a pick. I'm talking big vibes, better know the name. New channel, fresh start, but the soul didn't change. I got that diamonds is riding on a track. 17 years down, but we brought the heat back. We're staying solid, we don't ever bend. Because the thick skin wins in the very end. I said the thick skin wins, yeah, the thick skin wins. Quality over everything, let the show begin. Yeah.
It says 15 people are watching. So somebody's in here. Okay, here we go. All right, y'all, we back. Sorry about that. Okay, y'all back. Okay, we back. It took a minute.
Yeah.
All right. Man, we sorry about that. So part 1, if you weren't here, got cut off because of copyright. Hello, Jack. So tonight, this song was made for us by Grismatic. So there's no copyright with that song.
Right.
That
so
I
we
just
play
played.
that to our heart's content.
Yeah. Jack, we can't listen to nothing unless you made the song strictly for us, apparently, because YouTube didn't like it. Okay, look it. So you guys, podcast. Thank you for coming. Today's Wednesday. We show up here, the Dynamicist and myself. Thank you. That was by Grismatic. Chrissia.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chrissia. So anyway, look. No contact. I was telling Jason about this, Dynamicist, about this. That I saw it on YouTube on Oprah. Hopefully I won't get cut off for that as well. But yeah, is there somebody in your life? This is specifically, they're talking about family. I don't think this is a new thing, but I think with mental health being such a big deal, and it's always been a big deal, but we're talking about it more. You just gotta cut some people off, family or not, right? Just to keep your sanity. And that's probably one of the hardest things to do, but I guess more people are doing it than we know. So I have a video I was going to start with. if that's okay, unless you want to add
Mm-hmm.
something before we get
No,
started.
no. I think we should. Let's get started.
Okay. Let me share.
Hello, New York. Hello, New York. So maybe you all can relate in some way to this growing phenomenon known as going no contact. That's when a person cuts off ties to someone in their family. A Cornell University study now shows that almost 1/3 of Americans are actively estranged from a family member. That is incredible to me. I want to ask a few people in our audience to help us understand what that means. So, Bristol, go ahead.
I have been no contact with my entire family for a year and a half now.
No contact.
No contact.
Not a phone call, not a text, not a nothing.
Nothing.
For a year and a half now. Okay. Chris, how about you?
It's been 4 years since I've had contact with my parents and my siblings.
4 years. Not a word.
Not a word.
Okay. And Kendall,
I've been no contact with my 30-year-old son for 2 years.
by your choice.
By choice.
Okay.
I want to hear her
Some
story for
experts
sure.
believe that there's been a shift in how younger generations protect their mental health and their boundaries, or have an expanded view of what is considered abuse. And that has led to a silent epidemic. So social media has millions of videos with the hashtag no contact from adult children who say that their parent or their sibling is toxic and they've had enough. So what is going on? So we gathered leading experts, and people with different experiences and points of view on this issue, including parents whose adult children have cut them off. And we'll hear from other adult children who chose to go no contact with their parents. I know this is a tender, hot button topic. My hope is that we can open up the heart space and really listen. I'm not on anybody's side. I just
Me neither.
want to hear what everyone has
I
to
am.
say. So let's start by introducing Dr. Joshua Coleman, who's a psychologist and best-selling author of Rules of Estrangement: Why Adult Children Cut Ties and How to Heal the Conflict. Now, he's a frequent contributor to the Washington Post column, Ask a Therapist. Welcome, Dr. Coleman.
Thank you for having me.
So is this a new thing? Because, I mean, for many, many, many years of doing shows and talking to families from all over the country and the world, when there's a crisis, people just sort of figured it out or came together at Thanksgiving and had a big fight. But is this new?
Yeah, I mean, there's always been estrangements, right? Forever there's been estrangements. But it's new the way we think about family. There's been a radical change in the way that we think about family. The old days of honor thy mother and thy father, respect thy elders, families forever, has given way to this much more of an emphasis on personal happiness, personal growth, my identity, my political beliefs, my mental health. So much so that today protecting my mental health is the single most common thing that I see in every single letter from every estranged adult
And
child.
has this been exacerbated or has this increased because of social media?
Oh, there's no question.
Come on, exacerbate.
Because you've got 2 billion hashtags toxic family. And everybody's got a, if you line up and you're an estranged parent, you're going to get onto a Facebook site. If you're an estranged adult child, you're going to probably get onto Reddit or something like that. And you're going to get support for your perspective. But these aren't people who actually know your parents or know your adult child.
Right.
They're going to kind of tell you what you want to hear.
Right.
So there's this very inflammatory reaction that people have as a result of it. And partly that happens because we've become so divided as a society. People are kind of looking for their tribes because their tribes are, they don't have them anymore. We're lonely. We have rising rates of mental illness.
Your tribe used to be your family.
Your tribe used to be your family, exactly. And it still could if we figure out how to talk to each other.
Well, it's so interesting because, I've been talking.
What happened? You had
He's speaking.
He's speaking?
He's speaking right there.
Yeah.
Communication. One of your favorite statements, sayings that that's your credit to that, is something about clarity is our partner, communication is our friend.
Communication is our partner, clarity is our friend.
I absolutely
And that's
love that.
I want to give credit to Craig the writer, Stewart.
Yeah. I absolutely love that. I think it speaks volumes it speaks volumes. So, yeah, he cooking. He
Okay,
cooking.
here we go. We're gonna keep going, but you, I see what side you leaning on. All
No, I
right,
mean I'm not leaning,
you
but
leaning now. You leaning.
To people for a number of years. And I remember back in the day, meaning 80s, 90s, the aughts, the very idea of having a disagreement with your family and the very idea of divorcing your parent or
Oh yeah.
removing yourself from a toxic situation was a foreign concept to people. But now it's like common understanding.
It's common understanding. It's also positioned as a sort of virtuous act of protecting our mental health. And you know what? Sometimes it is. There are truly abusive, difficult parents and family members. But there's a lot of people getting estranged today who aren't abusive, who are loving, decent, hardworking,
Okay, you see where he's
loving,
going.
caring parents, and they're being cut off. And part of the problem is us as therapists, as I hope we'll talk about, because as therapists, we become what the sociologist Alison Pugh calls detachment brokers, where we help people not feel guilty about feeling responsible for our parents. That gets sort of pathologized as being codependent or parentified or that kind of thing. And therapists are sort of greenlighting a lot of estrangements, particularly when you use language like, oh, your mom's a narcissist, or your dad's a borderline, or they're a sociopath, they're gaslighting you, or they're a boundary crosser. And once you say that to somebody, once you tell somebody that their parent or their family member or their child is that way, you just greenlit them cutting them off, because now it's a virtuous act of protecting your mental health. I think that's a problem.
Mm.
there's
Okay.
very much so
Dr.
a
Lindsay
problem.
Gibson is here.
Okay, so I see he sounds like he's gonna be going. It sounds like, and you know, maybe not. We'll keep looking, watching, but he's saying, you know, maybe we're maybe too quick to pull that trigger, and we're just not able to communicate. We need to learn how to communicate better.
Yeah.
That could be part of it, and as therapists, you know, or friends, don't be so quick to go with the trend. What?
Yeah, I would agree with that, and I think one of the things that he highlights, which is good, it's effective, and it shows that he definitely has done his research, is that he presented the argument from both sides, right? So you have the case where you have the people who are a part of the trend. Hey, these situations are unhealthy for me, so I'm taking a stand for me. Understood. Then there's those other cases. What he highlighted though was that therapeutic thing, and I do want to speak to that, because that depends on what your therapeutic orientation is, and what that basically means for anybody who goes into therapy is all therapists are not the same, right? Because they're not the same individual. Well, no different than the fact that they're not the same individual. They're most likely coming at the whatever situation that's being presented slightly or ever so slightly different. You have some that believe in a certain way about going about things, just like, for instance, different types of church. You got Church of God in Christ, you've got Baptist religion, right? They all study from the same Bible. It's how they go about it, though, right? And so therapists can be, it's how they go about it. Everybody wants to help. It's how we go about helping. And in this particular case, he highlights the fact that they were labeling other people outside of you.
Right.
I think that's dangerous, and that I've never found that to be effective, because first and foremost, we're not dealing with that other person, right? They're not in this session with us, so that they're irrelevant anyway. Doesn't matter what the fuck they're doing; they're really irrelevant. What's most important is you, and what's most important is how are you going to navigate this new space, right?
Right.
So making sure you have the tools, making sure you have a clear idea as to what you're going to do and why you're going to do it. So anyway, I say all that to say, I get where he's saying. I'm glad he did highlight that.
Yeah,
I
you got to
feel
be
very
careful. I mean, I
strongly
agree. You got to
against
be.
that.
I think that we give people. I think we have a tendency to give people too much credit because of a title, whether that's a preacher, a therapist, a doctor. Yes, they're gonna have some
A
credentials,
friend.
and a friend, a parent. Like, using this as an example. Okay, so truth be told, said the rise of media outlets have helped define what's considered toxic. For years, we did not know we had permission to disconnect until witnessing mental health through a wider lens. I agree with that.
I like that.
Welcome back,
I like
Tia.
that.
All right, we're gonna go back to the video.
Here, and she's a clinical psychologist and New York Times bestselling author of Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents. And I hear it has sold now over 2 million copies. And many people credit your book as the catalyst, actually, for this surge in adult children
She took
going
a
no
swallow,
contact.
Jason.
Now,
You
her
saw that?
upcoming book is How to Raise an
The
Emotionally
lady
Mature
swallowed
Child.
when
So,
Oprah
Dr.
was giving her all
Gibson,
that credit.
what is it
She took a
that
deep swallow.
you were seeing in your own practice?
Yeah, as a psychotherapist, what I was seeing was people coming in not identifying the problem as being with their parents or their family members. Usually it was some other kind of stress. Could be work stress or friend stress, that kind of thing. And then about 3 or 4 sessions in, they would start talking about what was going on with the family, as sort of like their daily life stress. And from there, we would begin to get a picture of this old underlying tension that had been going on for a long time with the family. But very few people early in the day would come in and say, I have a problem with my mother, or I have a problem with my
Right, because they don't know
son.
that.
They would come in with some other life stress, and then we would get to the family issue.
Right.
Is the family issue at the root of most things?
Well, I don't know if it's at the root or whether it just resonates with what's going on now. It's very hard to tell. But what I found was that the coping mechanisms that they had learned to use with their parents, when their parents were either trying to control them or get them to do what they wanted, were being transferred to their current relationships or their work relationships.
Could you give us some factors that you believe make it necessary to protect somebody's emotional health by going no contact? I mean, when you say to someone, or do you say to them, perhaps you should go no contact?
Yeah, I don't say that.
You don't say that.
I don't say that.
You let them decide
Well,
for
my
themselves.
job as a therapist is to help people
come to their own conclusions.
Well, not only come to their own conclusions, but I want them to be able to turn within and test out their own inner guidance. In other words, get back in touch with their own feelings and how things affect them. And lots of times when you've had a dominant parent, that ability to know what you actually feel and think has been messed with, okay? Because it becomes an issue of you love your parent by agreeing with what they see. So actually, no, I'm all about helping people to understand the dynamics of the relationship, how it's affecting them, and then they make the decision about what they want to do.
Well, how do you talk to them about your emotionally immature parent, and how do you determine whether a parent is emotionally immature?
Yeah. I really stay away from those terms in psychotherapy because I'm not
You wrote a whole book about it.
I did write the book.
You said you wrote a book.
When I'm coming in, I'm coming to the lady.
You got bitch, it's the title.
I'm coming to the lady who wrote the book about emotionally immature parents.
I like what she's saying, though.
Absolutely.
Right.
Whether you
Yeah.
mention it or not, and
I like what she's saying because that's true therapy. All that labeling shit is not effective. There's no point. So then what she just said, and that's what I was talking about earlier, it's not helpful for me to label people outside of you because I'm not working with them. I can't make an assessment based on only your judgment of what this looks like.
Right.
I can't say, oh yeah, well, your parents are narcissists because of how you're relaying your interactions with them. You might just have a fear of fucking with shit. You actually might have some other repressed issues that's now manifesting in this way, right? So it looks like this. So I love the fact that she said that because it's like, oh no, I kind of steer clear from those things in therapy.
And you have to be careful with that, I think, too, because
yes, you
and
do.
then we'll get back to the video, but I think you're right. Like you have to be careful with that because with social media and these trends and things of that nature, it's easy. And now you got Chat GPT and all this other stuff. Like these little terms and things, they throw them around and make them everyday words. You see what I'm saying?
People they started that shit. Well, I don't know about when they started it, but I do specifically remember when OCD became common.
Yeah.
and everybody was OCD. Everything. Oh, I'm anal about this, or I'm OCD, blah blah blah, and it became this buzzword, right?
Mm-hmm.
That just says that maybe ultimately you just clean. OCD is a whole nother spectrum. Just like everybody's a narcissist right now.
Right.
Everybody. That's the favorite term, so that's the go-to term.
Right.
But what people don't realize is that those terms actually have a meaning. Every word that we use has meaning.
Right. Right.
So there's things that we should unpack, in other words.
Yeah.
I so I kind of like what she's saying.
I do too.
I'm fucking with her stance on that, especially
I'm gonna let her
on
get
this stage.
right.
I fuck
I
with
think
it.
I'm gonna let her get through all the
Hey,
therapist
Susan.
side, but and then I'll jump to a particular story. I want to hear the Black people story. I'm sorry, I do. I don't know. But before we go. I mean, white people have problems too. But okay, here we go.
Session. Yeah.
Right. But when
Hi,
I'm talking with
Susan.
them in the
Love you.
session,
She
I'm
just walked in.
describing behavior. They're describing behavior, and we're talking about the effect of those behaviors on them. Down the road,
We're talking about no contact.
once they've read
Susan.
the book,
You gotta
then we
cut
might
people
use
off
that
tonight,
shorthand
Susan.
about emotional immaturity. But at the time, we're just trying to understand their subjective experience of that parent.
Okay. I want to bring in Nedra Goldberg to WAB. Nedra is a licensed therapist and a relationship expert known as the Boundary Queen on social media.
Hey,
and she's
Dad.
the author of the New York Times bestseller, Drama Free, a guide to managing unhealthy family relationships. And her upcoming book is The Balancing Act, creating healthy dependency and connection without losing yourself. Welcome. I see you nodding here, and you're nodding for both of them. So what does that mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think
aside.
it's such a thin line between like what's appropriate and what's gone too far. Because as therapists, we do see our clients suffering. And as Lindsay mentioned, I don't say like you need to leave this relationship, but I might think like, I wonder how you will feel if you did. Because there's so much pain for so long.
But
for
you
some
wrote
people.
that no contact is not the first option as much as a last resort.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And when is it a last resort, do you think?
I think when you've assessed whether the relationship is safe, if you can handle the consequences of actually leaving that relationship, it's our work to help our clients determine, is the relationship just toxic or is it annoying? Are these some behaviors we can live with people? Is it possible for us to have less contact instead of no contact? Have we set expectations? Are they even clear about a problem? Because sometimes we haven't talked to people about the problems we're talking about in therapy or with our friends. And they need to know in order for us to have a better relationship with them.
So I think what's so interesting, Dr. Coleman, you lived through this with your own daughter.
I did, yeah.
Who cut off contact with you. She cut off contact with you for several years.
For several years.
Okay. Tell us what this was like for you to go through this.
Oh, it was hell. I was completely heartbroken. I was married and divorced in my 20s, and my daughter's in her 40s now. We're blessedly very close, and she has a child that I'm also very close to.
Oh, shit. He's dead.
But, you know, she's in her early 20s, and she wanted to talk to me about what it was like growing up being in a blended family and how she felt, you know, after I became remarried and had kids from my second marriage, which is my current marriage. And, you know, how she felt in some ways neglected or like I didn't really have her back and in some ways unloved by me.
What?
Which is very, very painful to hear that your own child say that. And at the time, of course, I responded defensively, angrily, explained myself, blamed other people. Yeah, and for some weird reason, it didn't really bring her back to me. I don't understand why. But so it really wasn't until I realized I just needed to empathize with her and take responsibility and find the kernel of truth, if not the bushel of truth, in what her complaints were, that things really began to shift. Because
can I say this? Because I feel like that's true, not just in this scenario, but with any relationship. And I agree with the whole fact that, right, period.
Come on,
divorce. But anyway, right after this show, he got divorced. Okay, allegedly. Okay,
you just made that up.
I made that up. It's alleged. Okay, now, no, but honestly, I agree. Like, okay, that one therapist said no contact should be the last resort. You know, you try all these other things first. And this dude just said his daughter did it to him, and it was after he said try to find the kernel of truth. And that's the part that I'm going to speak to right now, just so I'm not going on and on. Okay. The kernel of truth. When someone comes to you with an issue or a concern,
speak
you
on
got
it.
to try to find a piece of the truth or their truth. You got to step outside of yourself and move your ego aside and try. If you love them and you care about the relationship, you have to try to see it their way. Some people call it being devil's advocate. You may not agree, but we're quick to be defensive and say why somebody's not right without listening. Again, this goes to responding, listening to respond to someone instead of listening to understand, right? I mean,
Yeah.
right? It speaks to that.
So yeah, listening. It's like it's like when you say, yeah, you may have heard me, but were you listening? Type shit,
Mm-hmm.
right? So people can hear but not listen. You're hearing to respond.
Mm-hmm.
Listening, it's an active piece, right? You have to kind of be involved with that type of a process when it comes to anything that you're hearing. And you're trying to reserve judgment because active listening says, okay, let me allow this person space and let me allow them the floor.
Right.
So with that kernel of truth piece, or the bushel of truth, as he said, yeah, that's very impactful. It's very important to do.
Yeah.
And in order for you to kind of get down to, okay, what's really going on? Okay,
What is this
because
person really trying to say? And
what are they trying to
sometimes
say?
people are not effective communicators, and it makes it even more difficult. But
well, especially when you're having these multi-level dynamics, right? So you have the parent-child dynamic, right? There's a lot of power differential there.
yeah.
And that dynamic within itself means that sometimes the children, depending on how they were raised or how they were reared or how safe and comfortable they feel, may or may not be able to truly voice what their concerns are because they may feel like they're constantly or consistently in another person's shadow. Now,
Yeah.
does that mean that that's the parent's fault? No, not all the time. But is it important for you to know that? And something I've told men this when I'm dealing with them is, when you're dealing with your children, more often than not, you are looked at as their hero, especially little boys, right? So there's a lot that you don't have to do when it comes to them. And there's a lot that you just have to take into consideration. And so when you're measuring out discipline or something like that, right, you got to be mindful of how they actually see you. So anyway, I say all that to say I'm really digging this. I think this concept, this conversation topic is a really good one. And we barely even scratched the surface because the nitty gritty of this shit right here and how it looks in everyday life, though. Oh yeah, that's the one.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
the
I'm gonna
one.
keep going. Hold on. Let me try to find the next it's so good. We might make this a two-parter, you guys. But okay, let's just keep going.
To that point, I was making it about me, and it was really about her and her suffering. But going through that was hell. I felt ashamed. I felt embarrassed.
Did that inform your ability to write rules of estrangement? Did it?
Yeah.
And was it harder for you because you're supposed to know?
Exactly.
I mean, you're the person that's advising other families and other people about their lives, and in your own family, It happened to you.
Yeah, I wrote my first book on the topic when parents hurt in 2007. And as it was, once we'd reconciled, I wouldn't have written this book if we hadn't reconciled. But once we'd reconciled, I wrote it, and as a result, got a really wide following of other parents who were going through it. And they all said the same thing, which is, I thought I was the only one. And as a result of that, I did a study of 1,600 estranged parents and published that in that book. So it's been really my works for the past almost 20 years.
Well, we have a number of audience members who are going through this right now. So Chris and Bree, what's going on?
Yeah, absolutely. So
absolutely. Chris, we're gonna go past you. I'm sure it's very relevant, but let me get to the next story.
I
mean, we don't want to know. Chris, he said yes, absolutely. I don't like the way he said it. I'm moving on. Okay, let's go to this person. Wait, just come on. We'll go back to Chris if we have time. Chris, hold on. I'm fast forwarding. Okay, here we go. Let me see. Ignore the dog. Every time my husband leaves for work, she barks. Okay, here we go.
Relationships with your parents, have you as therapists seen it evolve over the years also?
Oh, absolutely. And I think one of the things, Oprah, is that there was a study done in 2016 which showed that our ideas about what constitutes harm, abuse, trauma, and neglect have
That's
radically
another
expanded
buzzword,
in the past
trauma.
2 decades.
People
Radically
love
expanded.
that one.
So what often happens is an adult child, like any of you, may come up to your parent and go, "You emotionally abused me. You neglected me. You traumatized me." And your
Look,
parents are going
Oprah.
to be like, "What the hell? I would have killed for a childhood like yours."
Yes.
So generations are talking past each other. I mean,
Right.
it's kind of incumbent on us as parents to really learn how to speak the language of our adult children if we want to have a relationship with them. But that is one of the most significant changes, is our expanded views of what constitutes abuse and harm.
And that has changed.
That is changed
and it has
radically.
evolved exponentially in the past several years.
Exactly. Well,
Yes.
the past few decades, but social media is an enormous amplifier of that.
Amplifier.
Yeah.
Come on.
Thank you, Bristol. Thank you so much. We have
Bristol.
another Bree in our audience.
Here we
This
go.
Bree is with 2 E's, in case you're going to get them confused. Okay, so you've decided no contact with your mom. What happened?
Yeah, so my mom abruptly stepped away from our family when I was 6 years old to be with someone else. And not only did she leave my dad, she didn't want to be a mother to me at that point either.
At
And so
6?
throughout
So your mom basically abandoned you
Yes.
when
She-
you were 6.
Yep.
Oh,
She didn't. She was just like,
She left to go with an old boyfriend.
yep. She decided to go be with her college boyfriend, and she wanted to kind of just live this new child-free life.
Mhm.
And it was very jarring and traumatic for me because I was used to having a 2-parent household and doing things with them, and it was just a night and day. And at that point, she just kind of stepped away, didn't really have as much contact, would see her sometimes. It was very off and on, and I would try. And whenever I would try, I felt like I would be let down. I had a wonderful dad who filled the gap, but it's just no mom. And I would see all these girls being raised with their moms, and I wanted that. And so when I was in college, I extended an olive branch and I invited her to my college graduation. And she ended up humiliating me. I was on the floor with the graduates, and I saw this crowd of people walking towards me, security, the
This is at her
counselors,
graduation.
and looked in the
Are you
middle. It's my mom. They brought her towards me. They said, "Bree, it's been an emergency."
Oh,
So I'm like, what's going on? And she's just like, "I'm ready to leave. Like, we're about to go," her and her boyfriend. And that was what the emergency was, in front of all the graduates before I even walked. And so
look at Oprah.
I was bawling,
She reminds
crying.
me
The
of
whole
Shelley.
stadium's looking at me. And from that point on, I was like, this is done. Like, she does not have a care for me. And with me being a mom now,
She couldn't leave quietly.
and she couldn't just get up and go.
I know.
And so
She had to cause a scene.
a
Yeah.
whole scene.
Yeah.
And so, like, I'm a mom now, and I'm a single mom. And so there's points in motherhood where I'm like, whew, like, I get that it can be a lot, like, but I could never just walk away from my child. Like, I just couldn't understand doing that. And so I get a lot of judgment for it. Like, when something happens and people are like, your mom isn't feeling well or something like that. Like, it's like, I don't have that empathy, because it's just like, she didn't really have it for me. And it's hard for me because it's like, I understand, like, that she is my mother, and this whole "you only have one mother" thing. However, we did not have that relationship. And so what weighs on my heart and mind a lot.
Pause. Jason. Dynamics is talk to me.
I'm listening. No, I'm listening.
You,
I'm actively engaging with
so basically she's saying what? That the mama never was there for her, abandoned her. She obviously had the mother in her life on one of her most important days of her life, which is her college graduation. The mother makes a scene about that she has to leave early or something that wasn't important, and made a scene. And since then she has had no contact with her. And another important part is no one can seem to understand. They give her a hard time that she's made this decision, right? That's where we are. Okay. All right. We'll finish listening.
It's the forgiveness. And sometimes I'm like, will I ever be able to just forgive her and let this go? Because it's like, some people's mothers have passed away. My mother lived 20 minutes from me my whole life, you know, and just didn't want to be there.
Didn't see you.
Yeah, and just didn't want to see me by choice.
Well, I think that's so interesting because people use that phrase, particularly in our culture. You only have one mother.
Yes.
And they use that to guilt you. No matter what's been done to you, no matter what you've been through, you only have one mother. And it sounds like that you allow that sometimes to bother you, right? You feel you feel embarrassed or the shame of that in some way.
Absolutely. I'm very empathetic, and it's the fact that it's like I do understand she is my mother. However, it's like we don't have that relationship, you know, and so it's just like, you know, she was never there for me.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and whenever I would try, I would be met with hurt. And so it's like, you know, I want to be able to like forgive her for my own peace of mind, not to bridge the relationship, but just to like have some kind of a start to healing.
So your question is?
So my question for Nedra is,
so your question is,
how do I carry the void of the disappointment and the hurt and the distance, but also like, is there a chance that I could truly forgive her and be able to kind of move on, even though we obviously are both still, you know, here in the world?
I think you have to accept that people can birth a child without parenting them. And what I'm hearing in your situation is you have a mother, but you don't have the nurturing of one. And it's very hard to reconcile that while you're mothering, right? And other people are being mothered and they're telling you about their mother and you should do this for your mother, but you don't have that role or that connection with your mother. And so it's very important for you to accept that you can give birth without parenting. I think you also need to allow yourself to be angry, because sometimes we're not making room for that and we're just rushing toward forgiveness. I have to hurry up and forgive.
Especially if you live in a culture that says, but it's your mother and it's the only mother you have.
But you are her daughter. But you are her daughter. And so on both sides, if we're going to say, but this is your mother, this is your father, you are also a daughter. And you get to be upset about not being parented.
Yeah.
After you work through that stuff, what does forgiveness mean for you? Because you can forgive and reconcile. You can forgive and continue to not have her be a part of your life. You can forgive and readjust what the relationship is. Maybe she's not a mother, but she's a great friend. So you get to decide what that forgiveness...
Did you see her just do this?
I didn't know about that. Right. Oprah like, what?
Or maybe an associate.
You said, right. Oprah said, oh, no. That's what the girl did. She backed up like, if she can't be my mother, bro, I'm going to see you being my friend. But go ahead, Jason.
Come on.
Oh, okay.
Maybe she's an associate. I'm not sure. But perhaps there is something there. If you can remove that expectation of parenting from her because she hasn't done it and she's not doing it, maybe there's a little bit left there that you can have. I don't know what that is. And maybe it's nothing. But you decide what that forgiveness looks like. And it sounds like you have learned how to be a nurturer even though you didn't have it.
Yeah, and may I say this, that in all the years of all the shows...
What happened? You like that?
No, I'm just like, no, it's just so... So I'm a nerd, right? But I'm very passionate about working with people. I'm passionate about stuff like this, right? These dynamics. This is where the whole dynamics thing, right? It's exploring the chaos and how we get here and what does that chaos mean?
Yeah.
But what I'm hearing in that, and I've seen this in my work, is that so many people have longed for, right, this type of relationship.
What type?
This mother-daughter,
Parental.
the parental relationship, right, in a healthy way, in a healthy light, because it's no different than a plant, right? If you take a plant and you could sit it somewhere and don't give it water, right, and you'll see it to start to wither, it'll start to droop. The moment you give it water, sunlight, and even start talking to it, what you'll notice is that plant will start to perk up. It's almost like the entire time it was longing for someone to pour into it, right? And so people have this part in them. I am a plant, and sometimes I long for someone to pour into me, to speak into me, right? Now here's the thing though. What I think what I think becomes unhealthy is when we put restrictions on what the universe and creation, how that can be answered for you. Because when we put restrictions and we say it has to be like
What
this
it needs to
or
look
it
like.
has to be like that, right? Then it has to be my biological mother. It has
Okay.
to be my biological father. It has to be this group of people. It has to be my first career. It has to be this first job. And this first manager has to treat me a certain kind of way. Well, the problem with that is that we don't give room for the mastery of the universe to actually come to your aid and your benefit and your rescue when you most needed it. And I think that's where what bothers me the most, right? Because I've seen this oftentimes is that where people, when you start taking inventory of the things that you were looking for that you needed from this person, what's fascinating that is that oftentimes when there are genuine needs, those needs were actually being supplied, but it was being provided from another angle or another
And you
direction.
just didn't see it.
Well, because again, we say it has to come from over here.
Right.
So it has to come from this direction. Never mind the fact that my coach, my high school coach, was the one who actually would nurture me more, right? Or my auntie was the one who nurtured me. My mother didn't, or it was this person or whatever. What I'm saying is that when we get so stuck and fixated on the specificities where it has to be, I think that's where we do ourselves a disservice. And we're not giving
Yeah.
the creation, we're not giving the universe and giving God the opportunity to surprise us and to show us that actually I can provide that for you in a variety of different ways.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
And all the experts, my
I agree.
best example or best definition for me of forgiveness that has carried me through many a situation
Talk to me.
is that forgiveness is giving up the hope that the past could be any different. I don't even remember who said that so many years ago, but when they said it, the hairs on my arm raised because I was like, wow, it's not even about that other person. It's about you giving up the hope and you accepting finally that this, as Bristol has already done, that the relationship is what it is. And there's not going to be one thing you can change. You cannot change yourself. You cannot change that situation. Give up the hope that it's going to be anything other than what it is and accept the reality of it. That's what I hear Nedra saying. Once you accept the reality of it, you can meet her where she is or not meet her at all.
Right.
Yeah. You wanted to say what?
Yeah, the only thing I would add to that is we can't really forgive people who've hurt us unless we really believe we didn't deserve to have what happened. When you were abandoned by your mother, she treated you really poorly, and you probably don't yet fully know that you really didn't deserve that. You might consciously feel like you don't deserve that. But we can't really forgive somebody until we really, really know in our guts that we didn't deserve to be mistreated. So usually compassion can follow from that.
So he's saying
Well, we have some
he's
parents
right.
here who have a different perspective. First, watch this short clip of what a mother named Christy posted.
Okay, go ahead.
Can you pause right there? So do you get what he's saying about that right there? No, man. Oh, we were cooking. Okay, so listen. She's going to be right back. Trust and believe. But so chat, let me ask you, do you get what he was saying in that section when he said before you can forgive someone, you have to also believe that you didn't deserve it? There is something so powerful about that
What?
statement.
I got shut down. Are we still live?
Yeah, we're still live. Okay,
Okay,
so
good.
here's a question though.
Okay.
That piece that he just said about forgiveness and that you can't forgive somebody unless you actually feel like you didn't deserve it. Do you know why he made a distinction there?
Okay, talk to me.
Okay. So oftentimes, right, this is through research and then working with people, and if we really think back to our own childhoods, oftentimes when things happen with our parents, we internalize that. Sometimes it becomes maybe I wasn't good enough. Maybe if I did better, she would have stayed or he would have stayed.
Right.
Maybe if I was faster. Maybe if I was more athletic. Maybe if I was lighter skinned, lighter complected, he would have stayed here because he did get remarried and then he got lighter skinned kids over there. And maybe if my hair was different. We start going down this list of things, and these are always things that are related to self-concept, self-worth. Well, this is the sad part about that, is that when you're dealing with children will internalize the strangest shit because children have like legitimately unconditional love
Right.
for these people, for
Right.
parents, for things that so it's hard for them to make the distinction. So I love the way that he brought that out because that's often forgotten and missed. I remember, I'll just say this and we can move on. I remember doing this with people in ministry one time. And we would pray and do all these other things, right? Pray, we read the scripture, stuff like that. But I remember having a moment and I said something to the effect of, let's take time to also speak directly to the fact of how you felt about what happened to you. And in essence was, we're not going to act like these things didn't exist, and we're also not going to act like you don't feel some kind of way about that. The idea behind this is we got to get that shit to come up to the surface, right? I didn't deserve this, right? I don't know why this happened to me,
And he's saying in order to forgive, you have to truly believe you did not forgive it. I mean, deserve it.
Didn't deserve it.
You have to believe that.
You got to believe that. And again, and he even said it. He said,
yourself you do, but you really don't.
On the surface level, because it sounds preposterous, right? How could I take responsibility for something I had nothing to do with, right? It sounds preposterous. But the reality is that when you have what I call point of origin concerns, which means these are things that happen to you in your vulnerability. You cannot just say that, oh yeah, my rational self right now, there's no way. No, because at that time you weren't thinking rationally anyway. You were just thinking from your heart. And so it is possible that you internalize that you deserve that. And maybe that if you were different or whatever the case may be. So anyway, I just had to bring that up because yes, that is often misunderstood. It's often overlooked when it comes to forgiveness work, is going down this road, and it sounds preposterous. I even have one where we deal with the God concept the exact same way as a parent, right? As a parent, that why did you allow this to happen to me? Oh, and then you get people going down that road. Oh, that shit's scary. Because the idea is that, oh no, there's no way God could be this. But you did say he's omnipotent, he's all powerful. You believe that. You believe that he's above all of this. You believe that he cares. So then why did this happen to you then?
Right.
Right? So again, let's take the covers off. And the idea is not to get to the point where you're just saying, well, fuck God. No. The idea is we've got to smoke all this shit out. We want to bring it all to the surface and let's deal with it legitimately. Let's deal with it. So then you can start to move these things out the way and you never have to return again. When you think about this in grade school,
you gotta go, okay,
I don't give a fuck, nigga. What are you telling me?
Go down another road. You about to go down that road. I'm like,
all right, go ahead.
All right.
On her social.
So I'm going to ruffle some feathers with this one, but I don't care. So I'm going to address a comment that repeatedly gets commented on my posts and other people talking about estrangement. And it's the comment that says, your children are not estranging from you to hurt you. They're doing it to protect themselves. I call BS. What are they protecting themselves from with us? Loving parents who've always supported them, loving parents who's always, done everything in their power to be there for them, who financially has supported them, who has went out of
Bitch, you're already irritating.
Yeah, already.
their way
Already.
and put their life on the back
Who the fuck-
burner for their
Who told
kids.
you?
Who put your life on the back burner for your kids? You did that because you wanted to, bitch.
And
You
when did they
had them.
ask? They didn't ask you shit.
They didn't ask to be here, ho.
What are they protecting themselves from?
Yeah.
Okay, Chrissy. So you've had no contact with your daughter now for what, 3 years?
My daughter, yes. She's estranged from my side of the family 3 times in 7 years. The last estrangement came as a shock because we had reconnected for 2.5 years. I let my guard down. We got matching family tattoos, beach vacations with me and her brothers. And so I thought, we made it. We're golden. I'm not going to lose her again. And bam, a little conflict happened and out the door. And I tried to talk to her and I was like, we need to sit down. Can we just please sit down and talk? And like, why are you so upset? It was something so minor. And she refused to communicate with her brothers and I. She's cut my mother off, the only grandmother she's ever had, who's completely heartbroken. Her brothers don't have a sister.
Well, maybe she's mentally ill.
They're cut off contact with them.
Yes. And in the beginning, the first estrangement, I will give, it wasn't her fault. She was 17, 18 years old. I went through a divorce. She felt she had to choose and she didn't choose me. We worked through that, and she explained some things to me and I understood it.
You worked through
but now she's 25, almost 26. She knows I'm a good person. She even,
my son's 28 and he's still act the fool. Okay, what happened, Jason?
It's comments like these.
Yeah.
That, and in both of those cases, right? You're wrong. You're just dead ass wrong. Everything you're talking about is coming only from your perspective. This is the problem.
Right.
You don't fucking see them. And nothing in their conversation are they focusing on them. She's saying, we worked through that. Bitch, you did. They apparently didn't.
Right.
So how are you going to say, oh, because you sat down, okay, we should be over this by now?
And she says her grandmother, the only grandmother she's ever had, we don't give a damn. The grandmother has other grandkids. We get it. But I mean, golly, she let us down. We thought we made it. Bitch, listen, I don't understand how these people are irritating me in 2 seconds and they can't understand how they're irritating their children.
And this is the shit that we're talking about, right? On this whole thing. And this whole conversation piece, because it takes two. You have to be open to understanding the full dynamic. You cannot just assume that your way is the only way. And a lot of the complaints. So I'm familiar with this concept. I'm also familiar with the movement, if you will, per se, and even going back to early 2000s. But here's the thing, though, and you hear a lot of this, and you heard it even in the guy's conversation points. You remember what he said earlier? He was talking, that's how you deal with that. He said, irrespective of all that, I have to look for what is their kernel of truth.
Right.
There's something there and he said, this is what now propelled us to get to the next phase in our experience. It's not me telling you that you're wrong. It's not me telling you that your view of what happened is irrelevant. That doesn't help them, right? It doesn't help anybody when you're trying to.
And I think that as a parent, there's so much ego involved. It's
power dynamic.
Yeah, that power shit. It's like you just feel like because you're the parent, you're right, they're wrong. You don't listen. It's my way or the highway. You do what I say, not as I do. I mean,
I love you. I paid all your tuition fees.
Yeah, I did all of
that.
this, and you have a loving mother, and we went to church, and we took you to a beach every year. We took you on a vacation. Yeah, to my uncle who touched me every time I went. And I told you, and you didn't do anything about it. No contact. #. Okay, listen. I'm just saying that's the part they'll leave out. They'll
leave that out. Right.
You're fucking on Oprah Winfrey. Oh wait, was that Oprah Winfrey? Well, she was on it. She did some kind of post. Who just said that? Was that Oprah? Is she on Oprah?
I don't know,
this
but
is the lady
whoever it is.
standing up. This lady we talking about. She's on the Oprah Winfrey show. Now you're on Oprah telling everybody about me, bitch. No contact forever. Ho! I was on my way back, and your punk ass goes on Oprah. Okay, wait a minute. Let me just go back to that. Unbelievable, bitch.
No, we made TikToks together. She made me beautiful TikTok and that I have pinned on my profile, and
And who is this black man next to you? Does he know that you up to this shit?
Literally Mother's Day, and then 2 weeks later there was a conflict. So my daughter, she is smart, she's funny. She was a joy to raise. She's a college graduate, but I feel she lacks conflict resolution skills. And I just feel like my question to the therapist is how do we move forward to help parents and children that weren't in abusive parents? Like a lot of us are really good parents. We aren't deserving of this. How do we teach?
I could just see Oprah saying, "Bitch, get to the point." Hold on. Heard that little look. This is like you saying.
Your question is, look,
the fuck are we doing here? Bitch, you're the problem.
Spit it out. We all fucking know that. Diva knows it. Diva, come look at this shit. Damn, Diva's over here like that bitch is the problem, right?
You're the problem. You are legitimately the problem.
God,
I don't even know your kid, but your kid is correct.
Look at the right. Fuck it. We on her side. Look at the whole audience. Look at the audience.
Parents and children that we can work through the messy, hard stuff so that we can talk and not go no contact. Because I'm not going to lie, it's been 3.5 years.
We can't even get to her story. What?
Hold on. She said, how do we get them to understand that, bitch, you didn't foster that environment.
Right.
If you fostered that environment and she felt safe or he felt safe to talk to you, they will talk to you.
Right.
If they don't, that's because they don't.
Right.
So until you can actually acknowledge the fact of the part you played in this, the part that we played.
Yeah, because she hasn't said one thing that she's done wrong. Like
she's painting the picture. She's the perfect fucking parent.
Your boys don't give a fuck. They ignore you and they don't give a fuck. They're boys. You know what I'm saying? So they handle things differently. Men do, period. The girl is like, bitch, you're crazy as hell. But anyway, I don't know. But let's see what they say. Let's just see what they say. Man, goddamn, ho.
No word at all. And the glimmer of hope of us ever reconnecting is going away.
Bitch is gone. You're on Oprah.
I talk about a platform and give parents a place to be seen and heard. And when it first started happening to me, I was like you. I was like, I thought I was alone. So now I have a platform where parents can be seen and heard because we are villainized. And that video was about how villainized we become on that app.
What was the response to that video?
Parents were thankful. And, so many, I felt like I was alone. And to be honest, so many of us parents, I'm not a therapist, but I've heard hundreds of stories. So many of us never even got the opportunity to sit down and talk to our children. Listen, I'm all about, we don't decide what hurt. We don't get to decide what hurt someone.
Yes.
They don't get to decide what hurt us. So if my daughter came to me and said, Mom, can we talk? Heck, yes, absolutely. I would take ownership.
Better yet, bitch, can you listen?
Can you listen?
Fuck, can we talk? Bitch, can you listen? That's what she needs to be.
That should be the hashtag. Bitch, can you listen?
Jason. They're just like, bitch, can you listen? I love it. We're here.
I love it. I love that because that's the part, right? That goes back to that quote that you use, right? That you use often about communication
is our partner. Yeah.
Yes, right. You got to lean into that shit, and it's uncomfortable. It's very uncomfortable, and you feel naked, and you feel stripped bare, right? But irrespective of all of that, that's how you get beyond that space. As long as you're going to keep holding on to them raggedy ass draws that you got, as it relates to this, because we know how we have those raggedy ass draws that just hang on no matter what.
When your husband says, you need me to buy you some more draws?
Nah,
I'm just saying.
like these.
I mean, right, like you need a few dollars. Like, sometimes you gotta change your draws.
Yeah, let the motherfuckers go.
Change your draws. That's next. Okay, we coming up with all kind of hashtags. Put whatever hashtag you want in the comments. We're here for it. Hashtag no comment. Hashtag change your draws. What was the other one? Hashtag bitch listen.
Can you listen?
Can you listen? We're here for it. Okay, let's go.
If anything she said I did to hurt her, because I don't get to decide what hurt her.
Okay.
But she refuses.
Well, that brings me to the point when you said the reason we are not talking now, it was such a little thing.
Mm-hmm.
We all are wondering what little thing was that? What was that?
No.
And you know what? I was going to say, but I didn't want to interrupt you.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it was a little, obviously, it was a little thing to you, but it wasn't a little thing to her.
It was something she didn't get her way.
Okay.
She didn't get her way. And, my boys are in my life. I'm a mom of 3. They reassure me all the time, Mom, you were not a bad mom.
Pause.
Do you have a specific question?
Hold on. She might be one of those parents that actually, let's go with this one.
Okay.
And I've seen this.
Hashtag bad parent.
Ladies, help me out with this one. If you've seen this, whatever. This is what I've seen. I've seen mothers.
Help me find my. Go ahead. Go ahead. You see mothers.
I've seen mothers treat their daughters like shit, but treat their sons like everything. I've seen mothers who internalized that
they're jealous of their daughters.
Again, I don't know.
That's what it is.
I'm
I've
not a
heard
woman.
that. I've heard that for real. Like
Right?
that's a real thing. Mothers being jealous of their daughters.
Yeah.
Damn, this is probably what's going on. She said it's a little thing.
Hold on.
And her brother said, "You're a good mom."
Her brother, that was her first thing. My sons, they tell me I'm a great mother. Bitch, that's the problem. Because that's probably what's going on, is because she feels obsolete. Because you feel your value was greater because you had sons. Mm-hmm. So now, whereas she internalized some shit from her childhood where she was irrelevant, she now has boys, right? That makes her relevant in this manosphere, whatever shit space that they live in. Well, so now her daughter is a second-class citizen. So her daughter is now coming up in a household where she feels like that. So again, I'm on the outside looking in, but you've given me far too many red flags for me to say,
Jason, she is
now
definitely.
hold on. Wait a minute now. I hear you. But
some may add up. You see Oprah said, what was that little thing? Oprah, and she didn't want to say. She didn't want to say. You see, she's like, she didn't get her way.
It's never that. If the girl cut the whole family off,
because she didn't get away, you cut that out.
And if that's the case, and here's the other part. If that's the case, and you raised a child that was that self-centered, then what are we having the conversation about?
Then again, it's coming back to you. And then you're on Oprah telling everybody the reason you guys don't talk is because she didn't get her way. She's at the TV like, what? Bitch, you haven't learned anything. You're still a bitch. Hashtag still a bitch. Okay, let's go.
Question is, how do we work on teaching conflict resolution skills so that the no contact doesn't start? Because we all know once it starts, it's a hard thing to go back from.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, what I always tell parents is you have to start with telling your adult child that I know you wouldn't do this unless you felt like it was the healthiest thing for you to do. Now, I may not feel that way to me.
Is that the first rule of estrangement?
That's the first rule of reconciliation.
Okay.
Yeah. The first thing is you have to reach out to your adult child and say, you wouldn't do this unless you felt like it was the healthiest thing for you to do. Now, you may not feel like it. You probably don't feel like it's the healthiest thing to do. I, as a therapist, may not feel like it's the healthiest thing to do. But it doesn't matter. Your kid does. And there's no way they're going to come to the table unless you do.
Man, she's looking at this shit like, thank you, sir. She's so happy.
Second of all, you have to find the kernel, if not the bushel of truth in the complaints. And maybe you did all that. I mean, I get it. You're right. Some of these adult children who cut off contact, they're conflict avoidant. They don't know how to have a conversation. And they tell their parents that they're gaslighting them or they're, emotionally mature, or they're, narcissists or whatever. And it's actually that they have mental health issues, or they're being negative.
Oh, now you calling her crazy. Now she come on. Yep.
She a problem. She is a problem.
She's on medication. Now she about to break a HIPAA law. Watch. Just keep watching. Here she goes. She about to break HIPAA.
Influenced after a divorce.
Yes.
Or they're married to somebody who says, choose them or me, you can't have both. Or they're involved with a therapist who assumes everything's a result of parental trauma. Or they don't know any other way to feel separate from the parent other than to cut them off. But this idea that it's only bad parents who are getting cut off, I'm sorry, I call bull on that.
Thank you. Thank you. You agree with my TikTok.
No,
So we have
he
another
doesn't.
Go to the
Kendall.
next person,
Kendall?
please.
Hi.
Yes, I am estranged from my 30-year-old son by choice.
Where's Josh?
And what I do notice, even in the room, when the children were speaking, people were kind of nodding and agreeing with them. But the moment Christy started telling her side of the story, people were kind of like, you know what I'm saying? My platform speaks similar to hers on behalf of the parent, because parents are suffering in silence. And when children become estranged, they are celebrated, they're supported, people rally behind them. But when their mother decides to go no contact with her child,
But that's not what Christy was saying.
And that's
ma'am.
not what Christy's
That's
saying.
the opposite.
You know, we don't like Christy. Let's just say it.
We
what it
don't
is.
like Christy.
Because Christy is a problem. Okay?
Christy is not what Christy was saying. Now, this black lady, you're gonna sit up here and disappoint me. I was ready. I loved your little
See, this what happens.
your burgundy dress.
You went and
glasses.
fast forward to her. You should have went back to the guy from Matthew earlier.
I passed Chris. What's his name? Chris or Matthew? I passed him up to hurry up and get to your ass, and you don't listen. God damn. Now let's see what the fuck she talking about. Sheesh. Get to the.
is demonized. And that's been my experience.
You made the decision to go no contact. Why with your son?
My son he's caused me verbal, emotional, physical trauma, and financial trauma for over 15 years now.
And you just decided enough.
2 years ago, he threatened my husband and myself, and I made a conscious decision that was the last straw.
Time to go.
Because he didn't get his way.
Because he didn't get his way.
He didn't get his way.
Yeah.
And has he respected the no contact?
No.
He is not.
No, he has not. He sends threats that if we don't unblock him, he just threatened my husband yesterday as I got off a flight.
Yeah.
Saying if we don't unblock him, if I don't speak to him, he's going to do some harm to us.
Okay, now.
So that's been my experience.
Okay.
And parents don't go no contact.
No.
All right,
What's your name now? What's
now,
Burgundy's name? Because she's not now. Now this is valid now.
Now again, these are different concerns.
Right.
Okay. Now you got Susan, not Susan.
Where's Susan?
Not Susan.
Oh,
Not Susan.
Kristen. Christy, the one.
Yeah. You got Christy.
Did you hear
here
this shit? Go ahead.
Who said what she's saying? Now, all I'm gonna say is this: if you're old enough to run up, you're old enough to get done up.
Period. Your husband should have laid this nigga out already. I'm just saying. Your husband should have put hands on this motherfucker a long time ago. He needed his ass whooped.
And this is where black families are different. This is where we different, okay? Because you only got a certain amount of latitude. There's a certain amount of latitude that we gonna give when it comes to shit like this. Now after that, you done fucked up. I done brought you in this world. I take you out. I say it like this. I've heard that. I don't think I ever doubted that could be an outcome.
Right.
I think whenever I've heard that statement and it was said to me or in my vicinity,
you believed it.
I believed it.
Right, as you should.
I believed it.
As a child,
and we moved accordingly, right? And we're still here today, which is as evidenced by the fact that whatever the fuck they said don't do, I didn't do.
Right.
So
right.
I did
Right.
Oh, but seriously.
But seriously, to her point, she's saying that as a parent who goes no contact, it's not celebrated versus a child who goes no contact. Everybody's like, yay, more power to you. And to her story and what's going on. Okay. And I'll just tell you what I feel. Okay. You have a son that you raised who sounds selfish and he wants it his way or no way.
It sounds like he has mental health. He sounds like he has mental health concerns. That's
Yeah,
what he
he
sounds like.
might. He might have mental health issues, and he's
Yeah.
like, he can't have it his way. She said trauma, all kind of trauma he's caused. So she's had. I mean, I want to know: do you have a restraining order? I mean, this is beyond. If he's threatening you, I mean, you gonna
Yeah.
get locked up.
Yeah,
Period.
yeah, that's you don't want to we don't want to play with that.
Yeah,
And I think when it comes to this whole discussion, and I will say this before we move on,
Mhm.
is this desire or need to be celebrated. I don't understand where that comes from. I
What
don't think
part?
that that's no, because all of them or the parents are saying, you know, no one's talking about our end of it, and no
Oh
one's
yeah.
saying this. Listen, all that shit to me, I think is irrelevant. What I do think is relevant is this, right? As an individual, as a person, you are putting your health as paramount, right? And your safety is paramount, and I think that's I agree with that. And I think at the baseline of all of this, right, is it
Mhm.
comes back down to that. How do I know when it's time for me to make that change? How
Mhm.
do I know when it's time for me to go no contact? I really think it boils down to your health and your safety. Because if your continued engagement with this individual is putting you at risk of bodily harm, putting you at undue risk for emotional harm. Like I've known
Financial
people,
harm.
yeah, like I've known people that wanted to die by suicide from dealing with an individual. The type of shit that they dealt with that one individual, right? Whatever that was, again, you cannot afford to play with that. So whatever power that person had, or whatever way in which they operated, and get you out of your pocket, or whatever the case may be, you've got to be able to make decisions about what's going to be healthy for you moving forward. And if that means that I have to separate myself from this entity, then it just is what it is. And there's no need for a parade. There's no need for people to pat you on your back, because you'll still be around to talk to those that were able to do the same
Mhm.
versus the opposite end of the spectrum.
Mhm.
So, and who knows what that child will do later on? Who knows what those parents will do later on? If they ever get it, if they won't, who knows? I don't know the answer to that. But what I do know is that if I am subjecting myself to harm,
Mhm.
then all the people that love me, who are around me, who want to pour into me in a healthy manner, who want to love me healthily, who I can try to attempt to love them, all I know is this: if I keep subjecting myself to harm, then what I'm doing is I'm actually subjecting the people that actually do fuck with me to harm.
Mhm.
Because you can't separate the two. Unfortunately, that's not how human organisms work.
Mhm.
Typically, what's going to happen is what is hurting people hurt people. Period. That's just how that works.
Mhm.
So if I subject myself to harm, and I'm subjecting myself to hurt, and I'm subjecting myself to being emotionally assaulted, physically assaulted, then what I'm doing ultimately is I'm also subjecting the people that actually love me, or the people that are looking for that type of love from me, is I'm actually ultimately going to be subjecting them to the same type of bullshit. It'll look different, but the results are the same. Those
Mhm.
you may felt pushed away and irrelevant. Well, they fucking do too now, because for whatever reason you won't choose the love that they have. Instead, you want to stay tied to this relational
You
bullshit.
know what I was
Fuck that.
thinking, and then we'll let you guys go, but or you niggas can go and every you fucking want to, but I'm gonna go say what I say. But um, but you know what I was thinking when we were talking. I know scenarios when it comes to parenting children different ways, right? I know different scenarios with different people, right? But I think about and I'm just talking about a parent and child dynamic. As a parent, me personally, I feel like the burden lies on me.
Come
This is me.
on.
Now I know that I've heard people tell me, and there are people that do not agree with that, and you don't have to agree. But I can only speak for the love that I have for mine. And I'm not saying that a person who thinks differently than me doesn't love theirs. But what I am going to say is that I have to be able to sleep at night. So if my child decided to go no contact, you will know. If you know me, you going to know what the fuck is going on, because we know she tried like a motherfucker. We know she bent over back. Whatever it is I needed to do, because it's not the same as being with a nigga, a man. You know what I'm saying? I love my husband, but nigga, no contact. Oh, what? Are you sure? Let's go counseling. Okay, we good. Okay, we're gonna go no contact. Okay, cool. But a kid, your child, my child, you're not gonna be able to go no contact. That nigga gonna have to get a restraining order, because I'm gonna be like, what happened? Me like, mama, don't come. No, I'm coming, nigga. You have to lock me up. Because I'm listening, I'm writing shit down, I'm recording, I'm asking Chat GPT, I'm calling Dynamics, I'm calling everybody I love. And we got to figure this shit out, because the burden lies on me to make this relationship work. And I know that there's more to it. There could be serious mental illness involved. And like this lady said, it could be violence involved. And that does change things. It does. But I'm giving it all I got. And that's it. It ain't going to be. I've seen parents walk away from kids for far easier things. And I'm like, what happened? And I don't know if it's just a man thing, because the people I'm talking about are men. I haven't really seen, I don't know anyone, but I'm talking about people that I've seen walk away from their children. To me, what seems to be like, nigga, did you really try for real, or you were just mad at the baby mama, or what happened? Like, that kind of shit ain't gonna keep me away from my kid, bruh. It just ain't. And I don't know if that's a man thing or not. I don't. But there's women who don't have maternal instinct, so I don't know. But I don't know.
You speaking? Wow. And listen, man, I think this subject was actually a really good one, though. And I think it's really timely, especially because we didn't even get into
right
some of the reasons why this is happening, because actually, politically speaking, this is also happening. We see people are drawing lines in the sand. And as divisive as it may sound, but we're talking about, some are saying, listen, if you're supporting Trump, I don't want to fuck with you.
Right.
If you're supporting this shit that's happening, I just can't fuck with you anymore. And I can't ignore this level of bigotry. I can't ignore this level of foolishness and ridiculousness.
Yeah,
I
you
just
can't tolerate it.
Right? So
maybe somebody else can, but I can't.
Yeah. And
Right.
so you have reasons like that where people are also making these types of decisions. You have even scripture, right? In the book of Matthew, it talks about there's coming to these last days, right? And then it talks about the last days was somehow how, the divisive the message is going to be, right? I've come to turn mother against daughter, father against son, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Those who love this person or that person over me, then it's not fit. Well, interesting enough, if you start to break down what was actually being said, it wasn't just the specifics of the individual. It wasn't just Jesus saying me and my name alone. No, it's what does it stand for? So there's a line that's being drawn in the sand for people to say, listen, as for me and my house, we gonna go this way. What y'all can do, y'all want to go that way, that's cool. Y'all can have all that you want to. Hey, I had a conversation not too long ago, and I said, I'm so thankful for my chosen family. And what that means is that's not just talking about the people that are blood related. That's the people that we vibrate the same. And we're in the same frequency, and we're operating similarly, and we're moving in a direction similarly. So again, that becomes choice driven. Like, you have to choose, and if it becomes like what's best for you.
Yeah. You gotta that's what anything too, right? And I agree with you, True. It's like good point. Like shit.
Which part?
She said I've built a relationship with my children to where they will not entertain a notion of no contact, and neither would I. Like I couldn't fathom it. Like
Yeah.
it's all the relationship I have with mine. It's like it's always been open. It's always
it's because you fostered that.
Right. See,
if you fostered it, and if you were continually doing shit to cause harm, then that would be a different story.
Right.
So if
and
they
then you
say
can't be acting crazy like you, I don't know why they won't talk to me. I don't know why they're so angry.
And you're constantly belittling them. You're constantly antagonizing them. You're constantly and that's how you were done. So then you think it's okay that they should just get over it, but look at the results of your life as it relates to that. And why do you want them to now have that same heavy ass baggage to carry around with them for the rest
Is
of
that
their
the
life?
generational curse they talk about?
Yes,
Breaking generational curse.
That's breaking that shit. I'll just say this and we can close. I was talking to my nephew about this, and because he's down the line, right? And I said what's really interesting is I'm a little bit further up the line, and I've seen some things that you'll never see. Right? I'm aware of some things that you'll never be aware of. And I said where it started at was our dad, well, my dad, your grandfather said specifically, we're going to change the stars in this family. And what he said was, you will never not know how I feel about you.
Mm-hmm.
And so moving forward from there, what did that do for all his kids and then his grandchildren, whatever? It's like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. We know how where we.
He broke that because he didn't get that, so he made sure not to perpetuate that onto his.
That onto.
Come on, perpetuate.
Right. So again,
hey Siri,
to
how
your
do you
point,
spell perpetuate?
It doesn't matter. You don't need to write it down. But look. So I think that's the piece, right? And you have to acknowledge that. I don't want this shit stops with me.
Right.
It's not gonna go any further.
Yeah.
You know, so all that fuck shit that y'all that was done. Nah, I'm not not y'all. Y'all not finna deal with this shit. I'll deal with this shit. Matter of fact, and I'm gonna cut this shit off right here too.
Right.
So that we can all move on better than this. Because again, it's bigger than these bloodlines. It's bigger than these blood relations. We gotta get out of that concept. I'm telling you, it's bigger than that.
Yeah.
This shit is this shit right here. I'm with it. I'm with a lot of it for a lot of good reasons. I think we're also in a season of where people are separating themselves. And I can't remember who said this, but I know it was like when God removes somebody from your life, let them go.
Hey Lizzie. When God removes someone from your life, let them go.
Let them go. Just let them go. Because there's no point in you trying to force a round peg into a square hole. That's not love. That's control. Because love would say, then what's best for you is what's best for you. That's what love would say.
Yeah.
Because love is not self-seeking. Now, but again, I digress. We can go further. So, man, listen, this has been a good one. I really appreciate this topic.
Yeah, I thought it was a good one too. We almost didn't make it, but we made it. And thank you guys for coming. Thank you so much. Hey, Liz. We were talking about, it's no contact basically when you have to let some people go or whatever. Just watch it. It was good, Liz. But thank you everybody for coming, and we will see you next week, right?
Yeah, let's get it. Yeah.
I'm gonna watch the replay. Okay, sounds good, Lizzie. Where did I get Lizzie from? When did I start saying that? Oh,
Liz, it's a good one, Liz.
Yeah, watch the replay.
You gotta come check it out.
Love you too, True. All right.
Love y'all, man. Thank y'all for sliding.
Peace, y'all.
Let's legalize freedom.